women who are newer and getting into the industry, they're better to align themselves with someone like Holly, yourself, Carrie, or me, where they are getting that mentorship, love, training, and support from another woman, as opposed to,
Yeah.
just going into a straight up male, training program. There's lots of them and they're great
Yeah.
and you get a lot out of them, but
Mm.
how much better to also have the unique perspective of a woman, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this may ruffle a little feathers, but I actually think that women are naturally better at real estate. And that's because one of the number one things about real estate and successful in real estate is relationships. And women
Yes.
are so good at nurturing and compassion and being emotional when they're supposed to be, receiving, allowing, surrendering, trusting, intuition. All of those things are very feminine.
The real estate biz is drastically changing, and modern real estate success can't be learned in some old course manual. This is everything they never told you about real estate, where industry leaders expose secrets to success, contemporary lead generation, and how to dominate social media. All moderated by your host, the real estate goat and queen of social media, Carrie Soave.
Welcome back, everybody, to the show. I am joined once again with my beautiful co-host, JJ, aka Jennifer Jones. And we have a really special guest today, Holly Carroll. She is the real estate queen of Muskoka. And there's so many different layers to you, Holly. You're into manifestation, you're into energy work, and like I want to talk about real estate today, of course, because like our listeners are looking for pearls of wisdom, of course. But I also want to get into maybe some non-traditional topics for a real estate podcast, if that's okay with everybody today.
Woo!
It's okay with me.
So thank you so much for being here, Holly. Just to let everybody know, I've been trying to get Holly on the podcast for about 4 months. She keeps on going to Costa Rica on me. Oh, but she just got back from Costa Rica, right? So like, tell me about your trip. Tell me about what Holly's lifestyle looks like right now in terms of like work-life balance, travel, that kind of stuff.
Of course. I mean, that's the whole episode right there. Costa Rica was incredible. I like to get away in the winter because I work extremely hard in the seasonal months, where some people might take the summer off. I work very hard in the summer. I sell seasonal real estate primarily, which is waterfront properties in Muskoka. So come January, February, not a lot of people are getting in their car coming up here and looking at properties. One, because you can't get up here because of the snow. It's true. It's colder up here. There's more snow. And it's harder to see a property, of course, when the ice is frozen over. So I need that break. Not that I need a break from my life, but it's a beautiful opportunity for me to get away and then come back guns a-blazing.
Yeah. And, I kind of want to talk to both of you guys about this because JJ, your team is very like waterfront focused, right? So tell me, as somebody who doesn't sell waterfront, because there's not like a ton of it around where my market was, are there any huge differences legally? I want to say like repealing rights or something like that. And like how much more complicated is waterfront than traditional residential?
Do you want me to go first, JJ?
Yeah, you go ahead. They're very
Okay.
similar, like even Muskoka to Lake Simcoe region and that surrounding
Absolutely.
area, cottages in general. But yeah, if you want to go ahead, Holly.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that actually, because you don't have to be a Muskoka or in the area and still get some nuggets out of this podcast. I mean, you're waterfront, you're waterfront. I wouldn't necessarily say it's more complicated, but it's certainly different. So just get an agent that knows what they're doing. There's some major things that need to be inspected or at least known, and that's what you can build on waterfront. That's septics. A lot of people don't deal with septics. That's a lot of mortgages are harder to get. You just got to know what you're doing. So I wouldn't necessarily say it's more complicated, but it's definitely, a different beast. And I'll let you add to that.
Yeah. And I was going to say, I think the big piece for me is whenever we look up a property, like whether we're taking a buyer out or taking us like looking at a property to list, we look at how much land do they own? Do they own to the high water line? Because usually the Crown, the Ministry of Natural Resources, and potentially the town, if it's an indirect property with a road in between, actually own some of that land or have interest in it. So you have to figure out, is the land in between the home and the water actually owned by that particular property, or is it Crown land? If it's Crown land, it may or may not be purchased. If you make a mistake on waterfront like that, where you have represented that it is a waterfront property, or you have a buyer purchasing a property that's been represented that way, when the lawyers get their hands on it and it's now a firm deal, you're looking at potentially hundreds of thousands of dollars or more in abatement back to a buyer or from the seller to compensate for that lack of information. So the one thing I would say is, as a caution for agents that want to get out there and sell waterfront, it is amazing. And you need to go do some training and talk to some lawyers about what to look for, right? Or talk to Holly or myself.
Yeah, we're available. There's certainly a lot more research on the agent's part to figure out, right? And if you're already in that field, like myself and JJ, we already know what to look for. So we don't have any more surprises. But I certainly have a funny story about something that happened to me, because I kind of just went into it and I was like, I'm going to sell waterfront because I love waterfront. I want to sell Muskoka lifestyle because I live the Muskoka lifestyle. So people were coming to me thinking I knew what the heck I was doing. And I bought a deal, forgot, or I was in the buyer transaction, and I forgot to put in that they would empty the septic tank, which is not a big deal. But my client says, word verbatim, I am not buying a house full of shit. So
that's right.
I learned that the hard way.
It's like, take your shit with you when you go. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So usually with that, we just suck it up and pay it ourselves, right, Holly?
I had to pump it myself.
Yeah. She's backing in the septic
that's like
truck.
above and beyond. If I've ever heard of above and beyond, I feel like that's it right there.
Right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So Holly, you're in the agency, right?
Yes.
And they're now an international brokers. I feel like they've grown quite a bit. How are you enjoying that? Are you seeing a difference in where were you before?
I was with PSR before, and then Remax when I first started. And I think each brokerage gave me something that I needed at the time. And I love the agency, but obviously it's different for every agent and what they're looking for. My favorite thing about the agency is that we really are collaborative. Like, we are all helping each other. And I know a lot of brokerages say that, but we definitely are. That's one of the things that are higher on our list. We are all helping each other. We are all on a team, even though we aren't in a team structure. And the advertising is bar none.
Yeah. And you know what? I think that's something to be said for international brokerages like ours. So we're EXP, and obviously that's the one thing. They're very agent centric and all of the collaboration, and it's a lot easier when you're international.
Yeah.
And you're locked in the same office together, like scrapping over deals, you know what I mean? Like, it's just a lot. It's a whole different atmosphere, so that's good. I just had a couple of questions about that because I've actually never talked to anybody from the agency before, so I wanted to bring that up.
You'll probably have more people on now that I'm on.
Exactly.
I love it. Okay, so
I think I was going to say an interesting question too, like, so you've been focused on like visualization and manifestation within your business, like as you got going, right? So is that kind of what you attribute your success to?
1000%.
Mm,
So I really didn't have anyone here when I first broke into the Muskoka market, but I visualized myself as the real estate queen of Muskoka.
high five,
And
girl.
right. And I just started acting and thinking and breathing and speaking like that person that I thought, like the future me, which is now the me.
I
But I
love
kept
it.
acting, and I would pour my coffee in the morning like the real estate queen in Muskoka. Like I was going out introducing myself that way. Like
Amazing.
before I had to pump shit, like before I had to do all these things, I knew already, like that was who I was. So I lived and breathed it in my mind before it ever came into my own reality. And
Yeah.
I think that like that's the way to do it. That's the way to do it, because people believed me sometimes when I didn't even believe me. I'm like, shit, I am the real estate queen of Muskoka. Okay.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
I'm a huge believer in Holly. Like, so I want to mention you posted a story not a long time ago. I want to say like 2 or 3 months ago. And it was about a manifestation coach. And I'm a
Yeah.
huge believer in this. Like, if you look at my life and even in the last year alone,
Yeah.
I've literally manifested everything. I remember saying a year ago, this is what my life is going to look like. And I was very detailed about it. And
Mhm.
literally everything, me and JJ were talking about this a while ago. Like, I was knocking stuff off my vision board before the year started. It was crazy.
Oh,
Yeah, so I saw that post and I started looking into, manifestation coaching. And would you recommend something like that? Like, or is this something, because I think that you and JJ are going to have like different opinions on this. I know Jennifer's very like, this is something that we can do ourselves, right? Am I correct, Jennifer? And
Yeah, I would say for most people, like even if you can get a lot of it off YouTube, off like for free, a lot of this coaching for free. And I do feel like it's part of a process of each person evolving, right? So, everyone goes through their own process of how quickly they evolve, like
yeah.
spiritually, right? So, I feel as if they don't have the funds right now to handle or hire a great manifestation or visualization coach, simply by watching a lot of the amazing content from the best people in these areas is going to be the best way to kind of get going with it.
yeah,
And it's really super simple, right? You have to relax your body first. So just close your eyes and relax your body. And you're going to visualize the future you as if you are now, exactly what Holly's saying, right? And
yeah,
even
Yeah.
like my third year of real estate, going into my third year, my second year, I had done 500 GCI. And I'm not saying that to brag. I'm saying that because,
You can brag, girl.
but the manifestation is what led to the 1,000,001, the third year, right? And it was literally driving the lakefront 30 minutes one way, 30 minutes back the other way. And it was like Holly, I would drink my morning coffee. All these buyers and sellers are mine. And I would see my signs. I would visualize it, taste it, see it, feel it, and did it every single day. A year later, driving that lakefront, almost every single sign was mine. And I was new to the area. There were 3 dominant agents. By the next year, we'd clean them out. And that's the difference. So much of this business is mental,
yeah,
right? And I know for you, Carrie, it's the same thing. I think that the thing that the 3 of us have in common
yeah.
is that we understand the power of actually using visualization in order to achieve things that other people believe are simply impossible.
Yeah,
I want to bring
absolutely.
something up too. I want to bring up, you know, it's manifesting is more mainstream now, which is fantastic, but people have the wrong idea about it in general. They think just to say it is enough. And I've found through years and years of trial and error that you literally have to feel the feelings as if it's already happened. And I feel like once you can accomplish that, that's going to be a breakthrough point. So for
Yeah.
those of you who are like, well, like I talk about like how I'm going to be a
Yeah.
millionaire and I've been doing it for 3 years and I'm freaking working a dead end job. And I'm like, yeah, but you have to, it's like heart coherence. Is that the right word? You
We
need
could
to
use that word.
feel the feelings and teach your body and your cells in your body what it feels like to be able to give off that energy and attract that energy, right? It's not just about thinking it and saying it. It's more so about feeling it. I don't know if you guys agree with me.
Yes.
We do.
I think too, it's like, but I think most people have been able to visualize something in their life that they got, right?
Yeah.
So it could have been
Yeah.
they really wanted to date someone and they visualized it and imagined it.
They got all hot.
And then it happened, right? But that's what I'm saying. Like the reality is, you know, most people have used visualization in some way, shape, or form to get a job
course.
or to date, but they spend too much time, 80% of their time, focused on negative visualization of all the things
Yeah.
that they're fearful of that could happen instead of being focused on the positive, right?
Yeah, I think that the big part of manifestation is actually feeling worthy of it. So there's
Yes.
a really deepness in if you are, if you have a lot of wounds or some, self-work to do, it might be harder for you to manifest, might be harder for you to visualize. I do agree with Jennifer in the fact that you could get a lot of the info online, but I do think that getting a coach, you can go a heck of a lot faster. So
Probably.
that's why I went so fast, was because I invested so much money and time and energy into a coach. They went back to me, right? So it was like, I'm going to do this, right? And like, there's so much more to manifesting than just saying it. I mean, I was doing that for a while. I was writing it all out. Every single morning I was writing it all out. It became like almost mechanical. I gotta write this out now. Like I didn't actually like it. And then it was like, okay, well, this is not working, right? So you really got to feel it, like you said, Carrie and Jay.
Yeah, I got a question for you guys. I'm not sure if you can answer it or not. I'm just gonna throw it out there.
Okay.
Quantum leaping.
Yes.
From what I understand, it's the process of speeding up manifestation and an extra amount of visualization, maybe, in a way. I don't know. Can you like break that down? I feel like Holly would know what this is through her training, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, quantum leaping is basically just believing it quicker. So, right? It's just believing it quicker. So, if we could believe a belief in an instant, that would be a quantum leap, because everything is accessible to us already. Like it really is. I mean, we do have to put in the work, but it is already accessible for us. What's the difference between someone that's uber successful and someone that is somewhat successful? They have all the same tools. We could get all the same tools on the internet, is because the one actually believed and didn't stop. So the quantum leap, I believe, happens with you just believing in yourself quicker.
Okay,
Yeah.
I love that.
And I think, yeah, and I would say too, like just that, because we're talking manifestation, visualization, for people that are really like strong in terms of their faith with scripture, even the faith, like that, like faith of with a mustard seed. If your belief is as small as a mustard seed, you can move mountains. That's in scripture, right?
Yep.
So the understanding that this is something that's been practiced a very, very long time. And it's just finding ways, like with quantum leap, to hack it. But it's essentially, yeah, you have to believe. And I 100% agree with Holly. Would you agree with that, Carrie, that you have to you have to believe on some level you deserve it?
Yeah.
And kind of working through some of the like self-limiting things that we have, past trauma, addiction, whatever it is, in order to get to that place.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because what'll happen is sorry, Carrie, what'll happen is it'll show up, but you won't be ready for it. Like you have to become that vibrational match to it. We probably saw it a bunch of times, but we pushed it away energetically because we weren't really prepared for it. So it's also
Yeah.
like meeting it halfway, right? It's like
Yeah.
becoming a vibrational match to all the things that you want.
And
Yeah,
it's
otherwise you
interesting.
self-sabotage.
Yeah.
You'll
We've done all that. We've done
self-sabotage
that.
with it.
And it's interesting you say that, Holly, because I feel like you need to be ready for it. I watched a really short clip last night, something with Tony Robbins, where he's like, okay, like look around the room and remember everything brown. You know what I mean? Like that kind of
Yeah.
exercise. So how are you able to see opportunity
Yeah.
if you're not looking for it? You have to be mentally in a good place and open to it to actually
Yeah.
see it. So it might already be there, but
It is.
you can't see
It is
it
there.
because
Yeah.
you either have blockages and you're not focused, or you're just not looking and you're not open, right? So
Right. And you can even go a little bit deeper in sort of the, woo-woo field. And it's like attraction. Like you're not even attracting it because you're
Yes.
literally not a match to it.
And I 100% believe that. I believe also you attract the experiences even in your clients.
Oh,
You'll
yeah.
attract amazing experiences, or I find for the newer agents starting out, because they don't have a lot of confidence and they're willing to accept less, they typically will attract more negative experiences and tolerate more. So we train them and teach them to, like setting some boundaries and only accepting behavior that's respectful from other people. I do think clients sometimes forget that we're not paid until the deal is done. So we could be working for free for months or a year, even with big waterfront properties before you're actually paid out.
Oh, yeah.
So for new agents, you need to pay attention.
Believe in
and
yourself.
Yes. And then where you are at is who you will attract, right?
Yes.
Easy,
I
easy.
mean, yeah, I literally visualize my perfect client all the time.
I love it.
And I call myself the conscious realtor because I literally because a lot of people are like, oh, well, you just want wealthy clients, like you, or not particularly me, but they're like, go for wealthy clients. I'm like, I don't want the wealthy clients. I want the wealthy and the conscious. I want the ones that are giving back, the elevated, like, because it is you basically have to get in bed with these people. Like it is a full transaction, so.
And maybe not in bed.
It's just a saying. It's just a saying.
Like maybe we stop short of bed. Okay, Holly?
Just
Now,
a
I don't know
saying,
about
just
you,
a say.
but I stop.
love it. Okay, so March is March Women's Month, right? Is it not?
I think so. Or
Yeah, it
International Dog.
So what an appropriate time, because we are going to be going live on March 1st, and this is a women's panel. And I also want to bring up that this is going to be on the launch date of a new radio station, KGCI Radio on Air. Okay. And I'm going to list all of that stuff underneath the video and underneath the podcast. So we're super excited about that. But like for Women's History Month or whatever they're calling March, right? I'm open to whatever. But it's for us.
As long as there's women in it.
Let's talk about running a business and operating in female energy as opposed to masculine energy, because me and Holly had a discussion on the phone like a month ago, and I brought this up. I'm like, we should really talk about this because I've been in real estate for over 14 years. I think I'm coming up on 15 years. Oh, goodness. I was successful early on, but until I hit my, I want to say 8th year, I was operating purely in masculine energy. Our industry is very driven, competitive, And as women, we can get sucked into the masculine energy of like hunt and kill and hustle and, like kill it. Like that's just like a masculine phrase that is not aligned with femininity whatsoever. So when I realized that and I was burning out and I was really starting to not enjoy my job whatsoever, 8 years in, I'm like, thought it was just, at first I thought it was just a phase. Okay, I'm just getting sick of real estate. But I realized it's because of the energy that I was in was so unnatural for me for such a long period of time. And I shifted everything. I looked into femininity and feminine energy, and I'm like, okay, what does this mean? So for me, I'll tell you what it means. It means inviting, teaching, sharing, and being open and allowing. I'm trying to think of the right words here, but that's how I feel the feminine energy should look more like. And maybe that's not a popular way to operate in the real estate industry, but I feel like all three of us have been operating in feminine energy and we are still highly successful in our own right. So I want to bring this up to let women know this, if this is a natural for you, if you are feeling a certain type of way, it's okay to shift. You're not going to lose business. You're not going to start making less money. I'm going to give it to you guys now.
You want me to
So
go
I
first?
think-
Yeah, go first.
Yeah, so I was gonna say, I think for all human beings we have a range, right? There's like the feminine side over here and the masculine side here. And I do feel like all flow back and forth, right? Where sometimes I'm more in my masculine energy and sometimes I'm more in my feminine energy. So it kind of depends. It could depend on the clients or who I'm with. I 100% agree with you, Carrie. I do feel like, we've got 60% of realtors in North America who are women, and yet it is a very male dominated industry from the ownership CEO side, the management, right? Typically. So I celebrate women who get out there and believe like I do. And I know that both of you do. There is no glass ceiling. That's a bunch of nonsense, right? We just have to get out there and actually believe and have other women who are in leadership roles that help bring more women and mentor and leg up other women into higher levels of the industry, believing they can, right? It's kind of like that 4-minute mile until one woman sees another one do it. They don't believe they can, right? I encourage women to come on board. I love mentoring and spending time with them. I think that a lot of the coaching that's provided within real estate is very male dominated based on how men sell. And I agree with you, Carrie. Women tend to be more relational, consultative, collaborative, so I think that, for women, especially women who are newer and getting into the industry, they're better to align themselves with someone like Holly, yourself, Carrie, or me, where they are getting that mentorship, love, training, and support from another woman, as opposed to, just going into a straight up male, training program. There's lots of them and they're great and we get a lot out of them, but how much better to also have the unique perspective of a woman, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this may ruffle a little feathers, but I actually think that women are naturally better at real estate. And that's because one of the number one things about real estate and successful in real estate is relationships. And women are so good at nurturing and compassion and being emotional when they're supposed to be receiving, allowing, surrendering, trusting, intuition. All of those things are very feminine. The cool thing is, though, is that feminine and masculine isn't male or female. It's just we're naturally a little bit more feminine, right? So I actually agree with Carrie, and I'm sure, Jennifer, you did this too. I was in my masculine for a very long time because I thought that that was the only way to succeed. And right, I really did. And sure, I might have succeeded, but I was tired. I was burnt out. I didn't like it. I didn't like my clients. I didn't like myself. So it's the balance, like you said, JJ, it's the balance between the two,
Yes.
because it's real estate is not just get a deal and go. It's a whole process. It's a whole, like, I'm in for the long haul here. I want to get to the top and stay there and bring everybody up with me and high
Love
five
it.
everybody while we're up there, right?
Yeah.
So I definitely think women are naturally better at that. However, we still have to know the balance and live in the polarities. Don't be too much into your feminine either, because then you're not going into any inspired action, right? So for me personally, I like to spend my mornings really in my feminine energy. That's where I'll visualize. That's where I'll meditate. That's where I'll journal. That's where I'll, just believe in myself. Spend a lot of time being in my feminine energy and just get that power within. Then I go into inspired action during the day, which is phone calls, it's showings, it's the doing, it's all that kind of stuff. So I move into the masculine then, and then I spend my evenings in feminine. If I'm always in both, but typically that's my day.
Yeah.
Make sure it's
Yeah, and that makes sense, kind of moving back and forth, right?
right.
Within those. I think for me, I started real estate. When I started, I also like very strongly using intuition and being in that woman's, that more feminine energy.
Yeah.
I think that is a strength, that is superpower we have, right?
It is.
So
Yeah. And you know what,
I love
guys?
that.
I really have to give a huge shout out to EXP, because they've chosen in a tech industry, specifically AI, they've chosen to partner with and contract with a
Awesome.
woman for all of their AI
you,
consulting.
you,
And like they had a lot of men to choose from. So
yes,
it's very flattering that the leader for tech, out of all real estate brokerages, because like I don't think I don't think anyone can argue that. Like, look at the metaverse, right? They're the first to be ahead of tech. For brokers at that level with tech to choose me out of everybody, I'm so flattered. And it makes me love EXP even more, because I'm sure there was
They
a
know what's
lot
up.
of pressure from the males, because that's how masculine works, right? So I want to give them a shout out for doing that and just setting that precedent. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I just wanted to throw that in there.
yeah. Well, and congratulations, right? I mean,
Yes.
it's no surprise to me. I told you that this is exactly what I would expect, because I do believe, like, you've invested so much time, Carrie, in that AI tech space and providing so much value for free to everybody who follows you, right? With
Yeah.
your daily content that you're pushing out, and you don't hold back. You share your best stuff. So yeah,
Yeah.
I'm a number one fan. Number one
I,
fan over
Hey,
here.
JJ.
I've,
Oh,
I've,
it's me.
I've got a secret, guys, and you guys are the first to hear about this. Whoever is listening, just a little tip. I am launching Canada's first AI conference for realtors, and we are narrowing down the date in June right now. And I am talking to a absolute bomb when it comes to AI to come up from the US, and he's not in the real estate industry. This is a true expert and influencer in the AI space. So I'm talking to and I gotta mention JJ's obviously going to be on stage. She is fully AI capable. She is just killing it. And she was one of the early adopters. And thank you for putting your trust in me, JJ. I really,
Yeah.
that means a
Well,
lot
the
to
whole
me.
team, our whole
Yeah.
team has,
Yeah.
your training has changed our business. So I'm very
Yeah.
grateful to you. And I highly recommend you use Carrie's AI training.
Say one thing though, I'm going to jump in. I don't think they picked you because you're a woman. They picked you because you were the perfect person for it.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Holly.
Drop the mic.
Holly, you're
Exactly
next for the AI. You're next for the AI. I'm telling you. I'm
Heck
coming
yeah.
for you, girl. I'm coming for you.
Okay.
100%.
Bring it.
Yeah, so I'm excited about that. So hopefully, you know, everybody can, when the ads start running and the posts start happening for the conference, gonna be a blast, and there's been nothing like it yet. So I'm super excited about that. And that's like that right there. Okay, 2 years ago, I sat down with my sponsor, who's no longer with EXP, and I said, this is what I want to do in this order. And my end goal is a massive conference with thousands of realtors. And they were just like, wait. And I literally
Like,
You
what?
scared them and they
They're
left.
like, who
They're
are
like,
you?
I'm out of this business.
I
These
literally
people are nuts.
I literally manifested it. Like, this is what
Oh.
we're
Yeah.
talking about. Like,
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
I'll tell you a little secret. Like, it's not a secret, but like most people don't know this. I go to church every Sunday. And when I'm in church, I look at the pastor, like delivering his sermon, and I picture myself there, and I feel the feelings that it would feel like to be there. And not many people know that I was terrified of public speaking. Like, I mean, so terrified. I turned down a lot of stuff before I finally did EXP in Vancouver in September. I turned down a lot. And just out of fear, when I was in high school, I used to stutter during speeches. So I assumed that, you know, it wouldn't go well. And yeah, I literally would go to church every Sunday, and I would look at the pastor and I would be like, I would get excited about it because I was feeling the feelings that you're supposed to during manifestation. It completely wiped out my stage fright, which is crazy, right?
That's manifestation in a nutshell. I mean, end the podcast.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah.
Well, yeah, I think it's just so amazing what you can overcome with it.
Yep.
And so where is your business at today, Holly? Like, how many deals, let's say, would you do in a year? Or like, what's your big goal or commitment for this year, for 2024?
Well, I typically do the range between 1 and 6 million on the water.
Yeah.
So I typically don't do as many. It's not bulk, but it's less.
Quality.
It's quality, yeah. Last year, I had some healthy deals, but it wasn't exactly the biggest year, and I don't think it was for a lot of people.
Yes.
That's why I like to say that, because people that are listing and they didn't have a good year last year, it's okay. This year's going to be my biggest year yet, of course. I am going to take home $1 million, and I'm hoping to have my partner, who I just brought on, is also taking home $1 million this year.
Woo! All right. Do it.
I love that.
That's so cool. That is
No goal
so cool.
is too high. No goal is unachievable. I used to say to people all the time while I was building this company, I would say, I cannot fail unless I quit. Like,
Yes.
and I think there's some serious reality to that.
Energy.
Yeah, it's like, how do you fail if you are doing the most until you win? Like, as long as you don't give up, it will happen. Do you know what I mean by that?
Interesting.
You're doing the most and you're in alignment.
Yeah, we
it's gonna happen.
Even Build Africa last week, Brent Gove was on stage. So Brent is an uber successful guy. And Brent stood up and said, I am the biggest failure in here. It's a room of 500 realtors, right? And he's right. it's like he's the second most successful guy in the room, second to Glenn. Glenn's probably the biggest failure, right? He would have the most failures out of anyone. But for Brent to stand up there and say that was a big aha for me. And it was like, yeah, you have to keep failing, or you won't have that amazing level of success in whatever way, shape, or form that you see, as being successful.
I mean, half the time it's just showing up.
Yeah.
It's just showing up, because most people won't show up, like, because they're scared to. Just like Carrie was saying, she turned down all these gigs. Well, people are probably turning down 3 million plus waterfront listings because they're too afraid to go, because they don't think they can do it. It's the same transaction,
But on stage,
I just believe.
Exactly. And that manifestation, like if you watch Carrie on stage, even from Vancouver, Canada, all the way through, and our Collaborate event and Inman last month, it's amazing to watch that, like just the growth and the confidence that you have, Carrie. It's impressive.
Oh, I appreciate
you.
You guys are so sweet.
I agree.
And we love Holly. Holly's amazing.
Holly's
like
great.
It's a manifesting.
The greatest podcast ever.
Right? We had fun. We had fun. We absolutely.
But look at what women do for each other. Like, they just, like, I've just felt that in my body. So imagine if you surround yourself with a bunch of women that actually do believe in you, even men too. Like, I don't think it gets men.
Yes. No.
PSA. But like, just imagine that, like you can maybe not believe in yourself some days, and other women do, and you're right back up, but believing yourself again. So like,
and that's so critical, right? I mean, Carrie, you and I have had that conversation in the past, just about like who you're surrounding yourself with. Who are those 5 people closest to you? Look on your phone. Who do you text the most? Who's texting you? Do they build you up and ask you to be the best version of yourself? Or are they okay with you just sinking down and being where they are? Do they sabotage you? You want to, improve your life, and they're like, hey, just come back over here and have a couple more drinks, right?
Right.
So I think, it's that commitment to being your best self, your best version of self. And it means surrounding yourself with people that challenge you. They're actually not happy meeting you where you're at right now and loving you as you are. They want you to be better. They want you to be your best, right?
Yeah.
That's why I love Carrie.
I love Carrie too.
Right?
You guys are awesome. And
you're more awesome.
I've had to go through a major transition with friendships and people in my life. And I said to my mom, my mom's like my best friend right now. And I said to my mom, and I'm like, I don't have a lot of friends. Like, I have JJ and GoGo, which are probably my closest, but friendships look a lot different to me now. Yeah. And I don't have anybody in my life on a consistent basis that's been there the whole time. And she said, how do you feel about that? And I said, life's a lot more peaceful and positive and enjoyable. And she said, yeah, and you don't need anything else. And I said, you're right.
Mom, get Mom on the podcast.
Yeah, I know, right? Mama on the podcast for sure. But she's right. Like there's that expectation that you need more. You need all these people around you. But if they're not challenging you to be your best, and they're not asking you to be better, then really, what are you doing? You're just wasting time. And you don't
you're
want
allowed
people,
sorry.
Yeah, just that last thing, that measurement of like, are you getting together with people that are always talking about the past?
Yeah.
Or are you getting together with people who are literally discussing ideas about, where they're going and how amazing things are and what they're building, right? So people who talk about the past will hold you in the past.
Yeah.
And you're allowed to distance yourself from people that are trying to bring out the old version of you. You're allowed to.
Absolutely.
I love that.
And it's been a game changer for me to level up my relationships. And I I didn't have access to those kinds of relationships or those kinds of people for a really long time until I changed over to EXP. And it's been a game changer. People are watching like how my life is transforming and evolving. And they're just like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm getting really conscious of who I have my relationships with. And I think that is probably the most important thing to success. It's not the tools, it's not the skills, none of that. It's all about your support. Right?
It's the environment you choose to grow in, which is everybody. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like planting a seed in the soil.
Yes.
Right?
We're the seeds.
You need fertile soil, fertile.
So
water.
my goal, guys, I want to share my personal goal for the rest of the year because it has changed. And because there have been so many people this year who have literally elevated me to a place and supported me in such a way that I've never experienced my whole life. My goal is to do the same for as many people as I can. So, one of the things that I want to do is bring, because I do AI consulting, I want to bring women in, all different kinds and shapes of women in, teach them AI, teach them how to consult, and have them help me build what I've started. That's my goal.
It's already done, Carrie. It's already done.
Yeah, exactly.
Break out the non-alcoholic champagne.
There's all these amazing women that have come to you, and you are out there coaching and teaching them to consult in AI. It's so successful. High five.
Yeah,
I believe it. I believe that. That's I feel like you've already done. You feel like you're already doing that, so it's not unbelievable at all.
Exactly.
Yes. We got some serious goals. So you've heard my goal. You've heard Holly's. JJ, what's yours?
So this year we will take the team from, it's sitting at 50 right now. We're going to 100. Right? So that's, yeah. And I am very much focused on attracting to me the amazing people to help grow them, like help them grow teams, help them win and succeed, and just having an amazing collaboration of incredible people that get to go away and do fun things, right? Like Glenn was mentioning, Glenn's like, yeah, we have the one of the EXP cons is in Lisbon, in Spain in June. I'm like,
cool.
Heck yes, we're gonna go, right? Yeah. He's like, whoa, just wait for the international tickets.
It's already there. You're already there.
Already there. What are you talking about? You said we're there, right? Carrie's coming. Always coming. It's gonna be amazing.
On that stage.
Oh my God.
I mean, it can be that playful. Manifesting can be that playful. And it's everything that you see in this world. You look around right now, listening to this podcast, everything that you see was once a thought in someone's imagination. So I love it. Right? So it is that fun and that playful. And I know I'm going to see you guys in Lisbon. So that's already happened.
We're definitely going to Costa Rica. Like that's a bucket list for me. How about you, Carrie?
So I want to do a retreat. So let's start planning this for the winter. Okay. I would love to.
Great idea.
Around November.
I have the space.
Okay. How about January? Can we do January? It's cold here.
Okay. Well, we could go back.
November.
Okay, fine. We're going twice. We're going to November.
We'll do a poll. Who wants November? Who wants January?
Okay, or both. You have to do like November, January, or both.
So here's what it should look like. We should start off, JJ, you should cover the business planning portion of it and setting up yourself with systems for success. And then we'll move in on day 2. We'll move into social media and AI. Okay.
That's you.
And tech. Yeah. And then Holly, you're coming in with manifestation, energy work,
and faith,
yoga. Let's do
visualization.
and it's going to be a very well-rounded experience.
Yeah.
I think
Heck yeah.
there 1,000% this is going to happen.
And we're
I
drinking.
love that.
Can we drink
Sorry.
wine? At least can I drink wine? Am I allowed?
Yeah, you can have whatever you want, Jennifer.
Okay, amazing.
You know what I want
Okay.
to do? I want to have surfing instruction.
Surfing
Yeah.
lessons. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, we should put it out there as like women who would like to attend and be a part of this. Let us know. We'll pick
Right.
a
And level
small
up.
group and go have amazing fun together. Right?
I'm in. I'm
Absolutely.
in.
Let's do it.
Okay, perfect. It is, Holly, it is such a pleasure to talk to you always. You're always welcome on this podcast. I love the energy that you bring. You just align with me and Jennifer so perfectly. So yeah, we should talk after this, but this has been a great podcast and probably one of my favorites yet.
Ah, mine too.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. And we will see you next week.